Joy, we are spending the weekend together. I want to spend time with you, my love. I will pick you up after work.
Victor said this to me one Friday morning during our usual early morning call. When Victor spoke like that, his voice sounded sweet and romantic. But with Victor, sweetness sometimes came with small storms. After all, I had already told myself many times, Joy, relax, this man loves you. I work as an accountant in a big organization, so Friday evening felt like freedom day. So I quietly bagged my stuffs in a bigger handbag. Pajamas, a hairscarf, slippers. Because Madame here was going to spend the weekend in her boo-boo's house. See me smiling like someone in a romantic comedy. By the time work closed, Victor arrived in front of my office building. His shiny car stopped right at the gate. Unfortunately, that was the exact moment I was standing outside chatting with Kunle. Kunle is one of my colleagues in the office. Nothing serious. Just normal office talk, those end-of-week conversations like, this boss stressed us today, oh. And Kunle was saying something funny that made me laugh. Then, suddenly, Victor appeared, like a thunderstorm that nobody predicted. He walked straight to us with that serious face. And before I could even greet him, he shouted, "What nonsense conversation are you both having?" The way he said it, Kunle froze. I froze. Before I could explain anything, Victor grabbed my arm and dragged me towards his car. Just like that. No greeting, no explanation. Just dragging me like a criminal that had been caught. My own shame that day, hey, if embarrassment had weight, I would not be able to walk again. The drive to Victor's house was completely silent. I sat quietly in the passenger seat thinking, Joy, what exactly did you do wrong? I just convinced myself in my head that he was just jealous, Sha. So I kept quiet. The next day, Saturday, after our lovey-dovey moment, I was just sitting in the room taking a work call. One of my junior colleagues had called to confirm something about a report. Normal office matter. Suddenly, Victor walked in. He snatched the phone from my ear. Yes, snatched. Then he threw the phone on the bed and said, "Stop answering mail in my presence. It's disrespectful." I blinked once, twice, because honestly I was trying to understand if I heard correctly. The person that called me was not even a man, but explaining things to Victor during his jealousy season was like trying to argue with a moving train. So I kept quiet again. Later that evening, Victor left the house. No explanation, no words, just carried his car keys and disappeared. He finally came back around 1 a.m., walking inside like nothing had happened. A normal boyfriend was supposed to take his girlfriend out, right? By Sunday morning, I had already made up my mind. Peace is important, very important. So I quietly packed my bag, no drama, no argument. I simply told Victor I was going home because honestly, I did not have the strength for his drama. And as I sat in the cab going back to my house that Sunday morning, one small voice inside my head whispered something to me. Joy, this man is not normal. But the truth is, even after all these signs, I still didn't leave Victor. And that decision would later become one of the biggest mistakes of my life.
I was with Zina one afternoon when Victor called me and said, "Babe, get ready. I'm taking you to somewhere special. You can bring your friend Zina along." You needed to see the surprise on Zina's face. Victor inviting her for a hangout. Now, when a man says somewhere special, your brain immediately starts playing romantic movie music. Even my friend Zina knelt and said, "Girl, I hope no embarrassment today because I will change it for him there." We both laughed out loud. Zina came along because apparently Victor wanted a small beach hangout. The beach was beautiful that evening. Soft waves, cool breeze. My heart was already doing bing bing bing. Victor held my hand and walked me closer to the water. Then he brought out a small ring box. My heart jumped. Zina behind us wasn't looking that happy. Her facial expression was off. Victor opened the ring box. Then he said, "Joy, Will you marry me? Be my wife. I almost screamed with happiness. But something small was missing. Victor was still standing. He didn't kneel. Nothing. Just standing there like someone asking for directions. Zina cleared her throat loudly behind us and said, Oga, bend small now. Victor looked at her and said, as an African man, it is demeaning to kneel before a woman. The way he said it, like he was giving a speech at a conference. Zina's smile disappeared immediately. Even the waves at the beach seemed to pause and say, is this how proposals happen now? But me, I was too excited. After all, I was finally getting married. So I said yes. Victor slipped the ring onto my finger while still standing like a statue. Zina clapped slowly, but her face looked like someone who just tasted bitter leaf juice. Later that week, Victor took me to meet his parents. Their house was lively. His mother opened the door and immediately shouted, so we finally have a wife. They welcomed me with so much excitement. Too much excitement, actually. Victor's two sisters were smiling so hard. His mother hugged me and said, you are very lucky to be getting married to my son. I smiled politely. Then she added something that made my brain pause. He has brought home about 6 girls before you. I blinked. She continued happily. But he didn't marry any of them. Then she laughed and said, you are very lucky. In that moment, I told myself something. Maybe those girls just weren't the right ones. Maybe I was the one he truly loved. That night when I got home, I sat on my bed staring at my engagement ring. One small thought kept whispering in my head. 6 girls, but he didn't marry any. Should I be worried? But then I remembered what Victor had told me earlier. The wedding will be in 1 month. 1 month. After 33 years of waiting, I was finally getting married. And honestly, at that moment, that was the only thing that mattered. That was the only thing my heart wanted to believe.